ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యా రంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి జేఈఈ అయినా నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్.
Hello students, now let us continue with stamens and retium. Here we discussed for the last class about the stamens and retium regarding cohesion and adhesion of the stamens. Now if you look at what exactly we discussed for the last class is nothing but cohesion. Now in cohesion we discussed about adelphi. Of course in adelphi we discussed about monadelphous, diadelphous, polyadelphous. We discussed about monadelphous, diadelphous and polyadelphous. So here suppose if you take monadelphous, diadelphous and polyadelphous. Monadelphous, diadelphous and polyadelphous. So here adelphi we discuss monadelphous, diadelphous and polyadelphous. Then we take syngenesious, synandrous. Now let us look at the examples for syngenesious, synandrous. Conceptually we have discussed the concept and examples for this all. Now let us discuss examples for syngenesious and synandrous. What is syngenesious? What is synandrous? We have discussed earlier. Now coming to syngenesious, let us take that here examples. You can take Tridax, Helianthus. Now both of them belong to the family Asteraceae. Both of them belong to the family Asteraceae. So syngenesious, you find example Tridax, Helianthus. Helianthus is sunflower. Remember these two plants belong to the family called Asteraceae. Why am I telling you Asteraceae family name here? Sometimes we get a question that syngenesious most commonly found in the family of, then at that time you have to choose that these two examples belong to the family Asteraceae. Synandrous, if you take synandrous, you can also take example for synandrous. Synandrous you can take example cucurbita as well as cucurbita, you can take example synandrous condition. What is synandrous? We have discussed earlier. Similarly, if you talk about adhesion, adhesion we discussed all other conditions like episepalous, epipetalous and epiphyllous. Now and the last one is gynostegium. So here if you look at episepalous, epipetalous, epiphyllous, we discussed all examples. But why am I giving again clarity here? Cucurbita is also example for synandrous as well as gynostegium. So you may be thinking for gynostegium example is cucurbita. So in cucurbita we find gynostegium, and along with that even you can take example calotropis. So just note down example calotropis. Along with cucurbita, note down one more example calotropis. Gynostegium occurs in cucurbita and calotropis. Synandrous condition also found in case of cucurbita, right. Now once if you take these things into consideration, then we find about stamens I am writing. This we have done for the last class. About stamens we find in some plants, in some flowers we find variation in length of stamens. What we find is variation in length of stamens. So in which plants you find variation in length of stamens? You can take example Brassica, Brassica means mustard, as well as salvia. Guys, sometimes in the question paper, on the question, sometimes they will give you example salvinia. So, this may be the first option. Guys, salvinia is not the one, we have to take example salvia. Most of the people, they get confusion with salvinia. So, when salvinia is given as the first option, they will choose the salvinia, but it is not salvinia. You have to remember what is called salvia. Brassica, salvia. So, what is the meaning of variation in length of stamens? Now, if you take this is the flower, now in this some are very tall, some are very tall, some are medium and some are very short. So, different length of stamens. What is that? Variation in length of stamens meaning variation in length of stamens, different stamens, some are very tall, very long in length, some are medium in length, some are shorter in length. Within the same flower, you find different length of stamens, that itself is called variation in length of stamens. Most commonly we find in Brassica as well as in case of salvia. Now, sometimes we have the chance of getting the question, the ratio between, sometimes we have a chance to get the question, ratio between anther lobe and microsporangium. Microsporangium in an anther. Whenever we get the question that ratio between anther lobe and microsporangium in an anther. Let us take, it may be what you call unithecus bisporangiate, or it may be bithecus or dithecus or tetrasporangiate, whatever it may be. Suppose if you take monothecus, one theca, and bisporangiate meaning two sporangia, that means this is totally called only one lobe, this is totally called one lobe, this is called one anther lobe. One anther lobe is there. So, one anther lobe is divided into two chambers, it contains two chambers, it contains two chambers. Which are those chambers? This is one chamber, this is another chamber. One lobe contains two chambers, this is one chamber, this is one chamber. Inside the chamber, in each chamber you find one microsporangia. So, it includes two microsporangia, or we call two microspore mother cell. Either you can call two microsporangia or you can call two microspore mother cell. This is one microsporangia, this is another microsporangia, altogether two. That means one anther lobe contains two microsporangia. So, what is the ratio you can take into grand? 1:2. Why 1:2 here? One is, first they asked about anther lobe. For every one anther lobe and microsporangia will be 2 in number. So, the ratio will be 1:2. Right. This is all about stamens and androecium, and take down carefully the examples for Syngenesius and Synandrous, and try to remember Cucurbita is not only example for Gynostegium, also example for Synandrous. Now, we were in the discussion about Gynoecium, also called as pistil, also called as carpel, right. Now for the last class we studied about structure of gynoecium. So we discussed that this is what is called as stigma on which pollen grain falls. The long tubular structure is called style. At the base we find ovary. Inside the ovary we find the structure called placenta. The tissue which is present, a nutritive tissue, it's called placenta. Now on either side of placenta we find arrangement of ovules. So the structure of gynoecium we studied for the last class. Let us continue further with gynoecium. Now here we say a sterile pistil. Sterile pistil is called pistillode. Sterile pistil itself is called as pistillode, meaning do not have fertile ovule. As we discussed for stamen, sterile stamen is called staminode. What we discussed earlier, sterile stamen is called staminode. Similarly, a sterile pistil, it's called pistillode. Where you can find pistillode, you can take down example, gall flowers in ficus. What is ficus you find? Fig fruit. What is the thing you find in case of ficus? Fig fruit. Right, we discussed about ficus. Did you remember? Ficus nothing but fig fruit. Where do you find? What you find in ficus? Gall flowers. Could you able to recollect it about inflorescence? What we discussed in inflorescence. So let me write very clearly once again here. So if you take special type of inflorescence, special type of inflorescence, I is nothing but what? Inflorescence. What we discussed in special type of inflorescence, we have three types of special types of inflorescence. One second guys. Sorry, excuse me. So when you take here special type of inflorescence, altogether we have three types. What are they? What is elaster? What is elaster? We find example is nothing but leucas. Characteristic feature of the family Labiatae. So special type of inflorescence if you take, we have three categories. One is what is elaster. Second one is cyathium. Cyathium is a characteristic feature of the family Euphorbiaceae. So if you take example poinsettia as well as euphorbia, these two are examples for cyathium, characteristic feature of the family Euphorbiaceae, and the third one is called as Aphanthoddium. So this is also called as fig fruit inflorescence. What is the example? So here the same thing will come, gall flowers of ficus. So remember Hypanthodium, very important. What do we call? Hypanthodium. Hypanthodium itself is called as fig fruit inflorescence. Very important. Under special type of inflorescence we discussed three types. What are they? What is elaster? Example leucas. It belongs to the family Labiatae. Similarly cyathium, it is a characteristic feature of Euphorbiaceae. Now what are the examples? Poinsettia and euphorbia. Next one, very important one. What is that? Hypanthodium. What is a very important one? Hypanthodium. Hypanthodium itself is also called as fig fruit inflorescence. Itself is called fig fruit inflorescence. So here we take gall flowers of ficus. So that's fig fruit inflorescence is also called as Hypanthodium. Very important to remember. Fig fruit inflorescence itself is called as Hypanthodium. Now, why I write again all three here? The same Hypanthodium inflorescence also contain the condition called pistillode. So, pistillode condition is seen in, sometimes you will get a question. Pistillode condition is observed in which type of inflorescence, which type of special inflorescence. At that time, you have to choose the option as Hypanthodium. Hypanthodium, what is example for Hypanthodium? You know, gall flowers, neutral flowers which we find in case of ficus. The type of fruit itself is called as fig fruit. So, that is nothing but special type of inflorescence. So, when you take here, we can take into consideration of types of carpels. We can take types of carpels, we can study later. First, let us study about a number of carpels. Number of carpels. So, when we take the number of carpels here, the flower may contain one carpel in some, the flower may contain two carpels or three carpels. Based upon the number of carpels, we divide into different conditions. So, let us take the condition first one as monocarpellary. The condition is called monocarpellary. Monocarpellary means the flower with only one carpel we find in case of Dolichos. Dolichos, that is nothing but beans. Okay, that means carpellary means carpel, mono means one carpel. Flower contains only one carpel, flower with one carpel. The condition is called as monocarpellary. It is found in case of Dolichos. Dolichos glabella, the common name for Dolichos is nothing but beans. Similarly, we can take bicarpellary condition. It is with two carpels. We find in case of Solanum and Helianthus. Solanum and Helianthus. Okay. So, when we take bicarpellary, flower with bi means two, the flower contains two carpels. So, we say Solanum Helianthus. Then, apart from this, tricarpellary. So, if you look at tri means three carpels. Flower contains three carpels that we find in case of Gloriosa, and other one is Lilium. Okay, so tricarpellary meaning here we find Gloriosa, for example we find what is called Lilium. Then pentacarpellary. When we take the pentacarpellary condition, the flower contains 5 carpels, and here we can take example for pentacarpellary is hibiscus. In hibiscus we find many carpels. Then we also find the condition called multicarpellary. Multicarpellary meaning many carpels. So, you can easily identify, right? Mono means one carpel, example Dolichos. Bi means two carpels, we find in case of Solanum and Helianthus. Examples are important. Tricarpellary means Gloriosa, Lilium. Where do you find Gloriosa and Lilium? Pentacarpellary, it is found in case of hibiscus. Multicarpellary meaning many carpels, that we find in case of example Michaelia, and then Rosa indica, that is rose flower, and including citrus. Right. So, according to the number of carpels, monocarpellary means flower contain only one carpel. Bicarpellary means flower contain two carpels. Tricarpellary means flower contain 3 carpels. Pentacarpellary means flower contain 5 carpels. Multicarpellary means flower contains many carpels. So, that is number of carpels. Now, let us go with types of carpels. types of carpels. So when we take the types of carpels, the carpels may be it's referred as apocarpus. What's the meaning of apocarpus? Carpels are free. Right? When we take the condition called as apocarpus, apocarpus meaning the carpels are totally free. Free means they are not attached, they are not joined, they are not united. Where you find such type of condition? We find in case of again Michelia, Magnolia and including Neelambo, Rosa indica. Apocarpus meaning carpels are free. So where do you find the carpels are free condition? Michelia, Magnolia, Neelambo, Rosa. These are the examples for apocarpus condition. Similarly, let us take the condition as syncarpus. So when you take apo means free here, syn means fused. So here the flower contains fused carpels. Fused carpels means the carpels are united or all the carpels are joined or all the carpels are fused. Then the condition is said to be syncarpus. So you can take example for syncarpus. Solanum, we find in case of Datura, along with that mustard, that is brassica, and even we find in case of tomato, right. So here syncarpus condition we find in case of Solanum, Datura, mustard, tomato. In these cases the carpels are fused. Then other condition is said to be subapocarpus. What is the condition? Subapocarpus. So when you take this subapocarpus here, now the half of the carpels are apocarpus. Half of the carpels are apocarpus, or you can write half of the carpels are free. Either of this you can write. Apocarpus meaning what? Free. Half of the carpels are free. Half of the carpels are apocarpus. So here you can take the example. Example for subapocarpus is hibiscus. Guys, morphology means examples. You have to remember all the examples. Make sure that you practice on the paper, so that try to remember all the examples, so that examples will not confuse you on the questions. You need to practice thoroughly, then only it is possible for you all to remember all the examples. Morphology we have full of examples. If you neglect practicing on the same day, that becomes too much of hectic work for you. So the day when you listen and understand the class, on the same day you try to complete all the examples. Number of times you practice it, so that you can remember what is the condition, what is the category, and what are the examples. And the same example where you will get, for example, here Solanum means you can see in the same Solanum you find bicarpellary condition, and the Solanum also shows the condition called as syncarpus. That means Solanum is an example for both bicarpellary condition as well as for syncarpus condition. So like that, the same example may get repeated. Hibiscus shows pentacarpellary as well as it shows subapocarpus condition. How many carpels means 5 carpels in hibiscus. How they are arranged means half of them are free, half of them are fused. So the same hibiscus is an example for pentacarpellary as well as subapocarpus. The same hibiscus is an example for number of concepts what we discuss in morphology. So you are not supposed to confuse with the examples. Make sure that you practice all the examples. Right. Now let us continue further. So, let us talk about placentation. In gynecium, let us talk about placentation. So, what exactly meant by placentation? Placentation is nothing but the arrangement of ovules in the ovary. The arrangement of ovules in the ovary. It is called as what? Placentation. The arrangement of ovules in the ovary is called placentation. So, we have drawn the ovary. Within that, how ovules are arranged. The arrangement of ovules is different in different types of ovaries, which we find in different type of plants. So, based upon the arrangement, placentation is divided into many types. Let us study now the types of placentation. Now, into this, let us take the first one. It is called a marginal placentation. First one, let us study marginal placentation. So, when you take the marginal placentation, in marginal placentation, if you look the conditions, this is unilocular. What is the meaning of locular? So, when you take the locule, so here locule is nothing but, let us take the locule is nothing but chamber of ovule. What is meaning of locule? Locule is nothing but what? Chamber of ovule. For example, if you take the gynecium, I am drawing once again here, maybe this you take, this is the ovary part. Now, here is nothing but placenta, let us take. Now, within the ovary we find ovules, like this, let us take here ovules are arranged. Now, this each ovule enclosed in one chamber. So, this is one chamber, this is one chamber. The chamber where ovule is present is called locule. So, which one is called as locule here? This is a chamber. The chamber where ovule is present, the chamber where ovule is present, it is called locule. So, how many locule is there? Suppose if you find only one is there. So, this is the ovary, you find only one ovule. That means here you find only one chamber. Only one ovule is there means you find only one chamber. Then the condition is said to be unilocular. Locule means chamber, only one chamber. One chamber contains only one ovule. So, what is a locule? Locule means the chamber of ovule. It may be unilocular, sometimes it may be, sometimes you can see the condition where, so here if you look at, here we may find two ovules. Here you may find two ovules. At that time what you will write? A bilocular. Bilocular meaning two chambers are there with the arrangement of two ovules. Locule. Locule is nothing but what we call the chamber of ovule. So, the marginal placentation is said to be monocarpellary. Monocarpellary meaning only one carpel is there and that one carpel contain only one locule. Now, on this here the placenta forms ridge. The placenta forms ridge along with ventral suture. Along with suture, the placenta forms the ridge along with ventral suture, and here ovules are born on ventral suture. Ovules are born on ventral suture in two rows. Don't worry, I will give you clarity in terms of diagram. So, let us take example for marginal placentation. So, the marginal placentation we find in case of pea. Pea is nothing but scientifically it is called a Pisum sativum. This is pea plant. Okay. So, how the arrangement will be? For example, if you take this is nothing but, or you can take beans, you can even take the other example, beans, Dolichos, right. So, if you look at this, on this is ventral suture, what you can see, this is ventral suture, ventral suture. Now, on the ventral suture, you can see the arrangement of ovules. On the ventral suture, you can see the arrangement of ovules. What are this? They are called ovules. I hope you got it, right. Now, look at here, placenta forms ridge. This is called ridge. This is called ridge along with ventral suture. So, this is placenta on which ovules are attached, and that is being attached and forms what is called ventral suture. So, ovules are born on ventral suture in 2 rows. You know, for example, beans, if you open the beans like this, chikkudu. So, when you open that beans like this, you find 2, dorsal suture, ventral suture. So, mostly the seeds are attached on the ventral suture. So, beans, chikkudu, when you are just opening, when you see when mama is opening that beans for making the curry, vegetable beans, if you see how it is getting open, they will open like this. So, that all seeds will be on one side. So, what is that one side on seeds present? This is called ventral suture. This is called ventral suture on which ovules are arranged in 2 rows. Such a type of placentation is called as a marginal placentation. Where do you find? Find in case of Fabaceae and beans, and this is nothing but characteristic feature of Fabaceae. This is nothing but a characteristic feature of Fabaceae. So, let us talk about a marginal placentation, meaning unilocular, meaning only one locule, monocarpellary means only one carpel. Placenta forms ridge along with the ventral suture. On the ventral suture, the ovules are born in 2 rows. Where do you find? Pea plant, that is Physum sativum, beans is Dolichos, and this is how you can see on the ventral suture, you can see arrangement of ovules, and such type of placentation is a characteristic feature of the family Fabaceae. Let us go to second one. Now, if you take the second one, now when we take the marginal placentation, next most commonly what we find is called axial placentation. What we find most commonly? Axial placentation. So, in this axial placentation, the conditions are, so let us take here, maybe bicarpellary or tricarpellary or pentacarpellary, or it may vary up to multicarpellary. Bicarpellary to multicarpellary. What is the meaning of that? Maybe bi, or tri, or penta, or many carpels. Bi to multicarpellary. So, here it may be multilocular, bi to multilocular, meaning what? Many chambers. Locule is nothing but the chamber. What we discussed? Locule is nothing but the chamber. How many chambers? There may be bi or there may be many chambers. Then here the placenta forms axis, placenta forms axis with seeds or ovules, seeds or ovules. So, such type of arrangement we find in case of, I am giving you examples, Solanum, and along with that we find Lilium, right, then Hibiscus, then we find tomato, as well as we can take example lemon. So, what are the examples we have to remember? Solanum, Lilium, Hibiscus, tomato, lemon. Now, what is the axial placentation? So, for example, if you look at, you can take lemon as an example. See, I am drawing lemon, citrus, lemon I am drawing the example, onto which you can see that there are many like this, on which the seeds are arranged. So, the ovules itself are called as seeds, because after fertilization, ovules develops into seeds. After fertilization, ovules develops into seeds, right. Now, this is nothing but placenta, this forms the axis, this is the placenta, these are nothing but seeds, sorry, let me make with a different marker, this is placenta and this is nothing but seeds, right. So, here bido-multicarpellary, there may be 2 or many carpels, bido-multilocular, 2 or many locules. Placenta forms the axis, this is the axis, and here you know that all will be like this in lemon, yes or no, you can see juicy, succulent, one which stores all that mucilaginous fluid, yeah, this is what you find in case of lemon. Don't worry, once again we are going to discuss about lemon when we talk about the fruit. Okay, when we talk about the fruit, at that time we will talk about again tomato and lemon, but at that time I will question you that what type of placentation they show, means you all have to remember that is axial placentation, means placenta forms the axis and on which the seeds are attached, ovules are present. So, bido-multicarpellary, bido-multilocular, placenta forms the axis with seeds found in solanum, lilium, hibiscus, tomato and lemon. What is marginal? You find unilocular monocarpellary, placenta forms a ridge along with the ventral suture where ovules are born in 2 rows, pisum is nothing but Pisum sativum pea plant, dolichos is nothing but beans. Ovules are born on the ventral suture, and try to remember it is nothing but characteristic feature of Fabaceae.